Welcome back, everybody. I wrote a book, and it is titled The Part Nobody Explains About Money. The subtitle is What I Want You to Know Before You Have to Find Out the Hard Way. I wrote this for my son and my daughter. This video is what's in it, why it exists, and whether it's worth your money. If it's not for you, I'll tell you that too. And first, the obvious question, why is a history channel talking about money? If you're here for the battles, honest answer, this has nothing to do with them directly. It's my channel, I made this thing, I'm telling you about it once, then we'll go back to our following battles. But there is a connection. Every disaster I covered comes down to the same failure, people making decisions inside the system they did not understand. Trusting the wrong information, assuming things would keep working the way they always had, and ultimately paying for it. Money is no different. Most people don't lose it because they're stupid. They lose it because nobody explained the system. And the people who did explain it were trying to sell them something. So why did I write this book? Well, it was not for money initially. And believe me, I really have always had a hard time trying to sell something because I always thought like I was trying to take advantage of people's goodwill to try to sell them something. But in this case, it is something I wrote for myself. It comes from me, and I really did it for my kids, and I decided why not share it with the world. Other people have kids as well. They might find anything in this book maybe valuable. And I want that on the record that is not for money because it changes how you should hear the rest of this. I have two teenagers, and at some point I asked myself, if something happened to me tomorrow, what would they actually know about money? Not what I hope had sunk in. What they actually know. Not enough, because we never talked about it, but those conversations happen in pieces. 5 minutes here, in the car, a comment at dinner, it never adds up to a full picture. And also there was a second reason, and it's in the author's note. I grew up with nobody to ask. Nobody explained a paycheck or interest, or what happens when you sign something. I learned it all the hard way. As a young man that grew up in southern Italy, that once did seasonal work and got my November paycheck in actually March. And that was the most frustrating part because when repeatedly I went to the owner of the establishment, they owed me money, the daughter, which came from a wealthy family, and I asked, I really do need my money. And seriously, she told me with a straight face, I bought a new car and I haven't had enough time to drive it. And I just thought at that moment how stupidly ridiculous she looked in that specific instance because the entire ordeal was frustrating. So I waited for a few hundred euros that I was owed, and when they came like a favor. And that teaches you about money too, about people's psychology. So I sat down and I wrote everything out in order from the beginning. The book I needed at 15, but they just came out at 16 chapters. And they were all things that I thought while I was working my hourly job. And once this concept existed, I figured other people have kids too, and other people maybe also grew up with nobody to ask, so I published it. The book starts with psychology and ends with scams, and that order is deliberate because most money books start with the mechanics, budgets, accounts, rates, all backwards. The mechanics are very difficult to digest at times, and the hard part is underneath. So why you buy what you buy? The reason is rarely the one you tell yourself, and there is a salesperson out there whose full-time job is getting a yes from someone deciding on instinct to purchase something in merely 4 seconds. The book starts with making you see under that machinery, and once you see it, everything gets easier. From there, it builds on from wants and needs, and the third category Nobody names your first paycheck, what is gross, net, and where the missing money went. Nobody warns you about the moment money stops being allowance and starts being paychecks, taxes, and credit limits. Percentages you can actually do in your head in a few seconds without a phone. That chapter comes early on purpose because percentages sit under everything that follows: interest, discounts, taxes, returns. If you can do a rough one in your head quick, you're negotiating blind. Then the economy, which the news treats like a weather system, strong, weak, slowing down, and if it's run by someone else somewhere else, well, it isn't. It's all of us. Trading, the book strips it down to that. Then inflation and why a jar of cash quietly shrinks with time. Then a budget that fits one page, not an app, not a spreadsheet with 40 categories. Compound interest, and the one advantage a teenager holds that adults can't buy back at any price, and that is time, once again. All 16 chapters, this is the one I wanted my kids to read before their 20s, and not after. What is a stock, what a share is, and why you never bet on one company alone. Credit cards, loans, with the one question that beats every sales pitch ever written. What is the total? Not the monthly payment, the total. And then scams, specifically the ones aimed at teenagers. Most finance books skip this or don't delve into it deeply, which is a mistake because this generation will face the most sophisticated frauds than any time before my time, and maybe many of you that are older as well. The scams coming for them won't look like scams. They'll look like opportunities, apps, people they trust. The chapter foretells that expose every one of these schemes, whatever costume it's wearing. And I'm not listing them here. They are, of course, in the book. Running through the whole spine of the book are 5 master rules, and I'll give you those for free just right now. 1. Every yes is a no to something else. 2. Wait before you buy. 3. Give every dollar a job. 4. Calculate the total, not just the payment. 5. When someone creates urgency, slow down. That's basically the book in 5 sentences. The rest of it exists to make those 5 stick. Then on the writing itself. It is written in a plain language, without jargon. Few terms I have to work on to make them more realistic. And of course there are explanations attached, but it doesn't sound like a lecture. Wanting things is not a character flaw, and the book never pretends it is. Every number was checked, same standard as the other videos. If I state a figure, the figure is right. What this book is not. The parts promo videos leave out. It is not a get-rich book. There is no system. Nobody who reads it will beat the market because I don't know how to beat the market, and neither do the people who claim they do. It's not crypto, trading, or hustle. If you want to hear your 6 months from financial freedom, there are 10,000 channels or thousands of other books for that. The book is not long. It's just 88 pages from beginning to end, with short chapters, each ending with the rules worth remembering. A few evenings to read, though it's built for a chapter a week, ideally with an adult the reader trusts. And for readers who don't have that adult, it works on its own as well. I made sure because I was that reader once as well. So who is this book for? 3 groups. So young people, teenagers, early 20s, anyone starting at a first paycheck with no one to decode it. So parents, if the money conversation with your kids keeps not happening, this is that conversation in book form. 1 chapter a week, read together, 4 months of conversations you'd otherwise never get around to. And anyone who feels like they missed the class everyone else took, you did not. There was no class. That's the entire problem. And it's why the book has the title it has. In closing, that's the book, written for two specific teenagers, published for everyone else's. It is on Amazon and is in the process of being published in any other websites. There is an ebook version and a paperback version, and is also on other major ebook stores. The link is in the description, and it is priced in a very sensible way. $3.99 for the ebook, $9.99 for the paperback. It's priced in a way that a teenager could buy it with their own money, or if you wish, you can give a gift and pass it along. If it helps you, leave a review. Reviews are the only marketing this book will ever get. This video is the entire campaign. If you pass, no hard feelings. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.